Hi. I don't know what I just did. I have the hiccups. Shut up. Hi. How's it going? How has y'all's days been? Weeks been? I feel like I haven't seen y'all in literally forever. I actually haven't. I haven't seen y'all in 11 days, but it's fine. Because today, I'm gonna be testing how slow I am by doing riddles. I did this before when I had all my other videos a long time ago, but we're gonna do it again because I found it fun and I just felt like I was smarter than ever, but I really wasn't because I got almost everything wrong, I think, but it's fine. So today we're gonna do it. We're gonna see how this goes. So I love y'all. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn the notification bell so you can see every time I post. And yeah, all right, let's go. All right, what am I looking at?
10 detective riddles only the most attentive 1% can solve. It has been scientifically proven that you must solve 10 detective riddles every day to develop and exercise your brain. You don't believe it? Okay. Perhaps we have made this fact up. But you can't deny that entertaining your mind solving cases along with Sherlock Holmes and other famous detectives is anything but boring. So, if you are ready to check how attentive you are, this video is what you need. Watch a riddle, have 15 seconds to try to crack it, and move to the next one. Remember to give us a like for letting you feel like a real professional in solving crimes. Good luck!
Okay.
Number 10. A detective and the blacksmith brothers. On a snowy winter night, the detective was resting in front of the fireplace. Suddenly, somebody threw a snowball at his window. The hit was so strong that the glass shattered. The detective stood up and had just enough time to notice 3 kids who lived in the neighborhood running away. They were brothers with the names Sam Blacksmith, Peter Blacksmith, and Mark Blacksmith. The next day, a paper note was left on the detective's door. There it was written, "Blacksmith." He threw the snowball. The detective knew immediately which brother to question. Okay, now you have 15 seconds.
What?
Hopefully enough time to figure it out.
Wait, blacksmith? Oh, Mark. Question mark? Mark? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? Mark. It was Mark. First of all, how does a snowball break your window? Anyway, it's Mark. It has to be Mark. Please tell me it's Mark.
The symbol, question mark, is called the question mark. So here we go.
That's so dumb.
Blacksmith. He threw the snowball. Number 9.
Oh, question mark.
A woman was
Terrible.
staying in her hotel room when somebody knocked at the door. When she opened it, she saw an unknown man. He looked surprised and said, "I apologize. I thought it was my room." He turned away and went in the direction of the elevators. The woman, however, returned to the room and dialed security.
Okay.
Why was she so suspicious? Have you already figured it out? Time is ticking.
What do you mean? There was a random man in her, what was it, hotel room? Why wouldn't she call the security? I don't know that man. I would, why wouldn't she be suspicious?
The woman logically decided that if the man had thought that the room was his, he wouldn't have knocked. Such behavior is typical for those criminals who break into hotel rooms and steal whatever they can. They knock on the door to make sure there's nobody inside.
Aren't there peoples? Are you serious? Why is there an ad?
Number 8. Suicide or murder?
Murder.
A detective comes to a crime scene. A man is said to jump out of a window of an abandoned building and commit suicide. The detective goes inside the building to the first floor, to the room at the front. He lights a cigarette, goes up to the window which faces the dead man, opens it, and throws the cigarette out. Then he goes to the second floor and does the same. He continues until he has visited all the floors and repeated the action again and again. Then he returns to his team and says that it was by no means a suicide, but a murder. How did he find it out? It took the detective much longer than 15 seconds to understand the truth. What about you? Are you smarter?
What? He lit a cigarette. What? He lit a cigarette, dropped it. That don't make no sense. First of all, that makes no sense. What?
When a person commits suicide jumping from a high floor, they don't tend to close the window behind them. But in this case, None of the windows which faced the dead man were left open. It means that there was somebody who closed them after the man died.
You didn't tell
Number
me that
7,
information
iced
for
tea.
me to...
Two young ladies were having dinner together. They both ordered iced tea.
Why she
One
got
of them
so
was
many
very
cups?
thirsty
Oh.
and drank very fast. She had 5 glasses during the time. The other drank only 1. Tragically,
But that's
the
me.
girl who was nursing her drink and drinking slowly died.
Oh.
The other stayed alive. But it turned out that all the drinks they had been served contained poison.
Oh.
How is it possible that the girl who drank more survived? Strange case. Are you ready with the answer?
Because she drank more. She drank it faster. So she just didn't die. I don't know. I mean, if you drink it slowly, that means you give it time to process and digest and freaking blow out your guts.
In fact, the poison was contained in the ice. The ice in the tea of the girl who drank fast didn't have time to melt, but the ice
You didn't
cubes
tell
in
me
the
that.
other girl's drink melted, releasing the poison into her tea.
You didn't tell me that.
Number 6.
Am I slow?
Mysterious death in the car. A man was found shot to death in his car. The
Am I
policemen
slow?
were puzzled, as there was no gunpowder on his clothes or anywhere else in the car. This meant that the person who shot him was outside, but all the windows were closed, all the doors locked, and the only bullet hole was on the man's body. How was it possible? Perhaps some mystic powers? Here's your 15 seconds.
They were inside the car, right? No? I don't think I was paying attention. Like, I was reading the words, but I didn't process the words. They were in the car. The person was in the car.
The answer is actually quite simple. The car where the man had been killed was a convertible. When the fatal shot sounded, the roof was down.
Well, then why is it up?
Number 5. Fly-in coffee. A
What?
woman was having breakfast at a nice restaurant. At one moment, she noticed a fly in her coffee. She was indignant and made the waiter bring her another cup of the drink. After he returned with a new cup of coffee, she shouted, "What is the service in this place? You have brought me the same cup of coffee." How did she understand it? Perhaps the woman was a psychic? What do you think?
There was an eye in her coffee. There was a leg in her coffee. Her lipstick was still in the coffee. The syrup from the pancakes were still in the coffee. I don't know. Or on the cup.
She had already put sugar in her previous cup of coffee. When she tried the new one, it was sweet.
What if they put?
Number
What?
4.
What?
In court for killing the wife. A man is accused of killing his wife. His lawyer, in his final statement, declares that the wife of the man, in fact, hasn't been killed, and will enter the courtroom in a minute. Everybody in the room, including the judge and the jury, turns and looks at the door, and the lawyer with the defendant looks at them. Several minutes pass, and the lawyer says, "It proves that you are not so sure that my client has killed his wife. Otherwise, you wouldn't believe me." Almost immediately after that, the jury comes up with a guilty verdict. Why does it happen? 15 seconds to find the answer.
Am I allowed to go back? Because I didn't understand a word they just said. I'm sorry.
In fact, hasn't been killed, and will enter the courtroom in a minute. Everybody in the room, including the judge and the jury, turns and looks at the door, and the lawyer with the defendant looks at them. Several minutes pass, and the lawyer says, "It proves that you are not so sure that my client has killed his wife. Otherwise, you wouldn't believe me." Almost immediately after that, the jury comes up with a guilty verdict. Why does it happen? 15 seconds to find the answer.
Bro, literally the riddle is why was the door open? I don't know. Wait. Pause yourself. Actually, wait. I can't even think. Cause like, the door open. The lawyer and the defendant look at it. Everybody else look at it. She's alive.
The man who had been accused wasn't looking at the door. He was sure his wife wouldn't enter, as he had killed her.
How do
Number
you know
3,
that?
a case of a smuggler.
What if he
A man
was just...
carrying 2 bags with sand crosses the Mexican border on a bicycle every day.
Okay.
Customs officers regularly check the bags, and all the time, they contain sand. It is
Okay.
obvious that the man smuggles something, but the officers can't realize what it is exactly.
Okay.
As they don't have any proof, the man crosses the border without interruptions. What does he smuggle? Your time has started.
Cocaine, crack, drugs. It's gonna say something dumb and like hats or something. Or like sandals.
This creative individual distracts the custom officer's attention with the bags of sand. But in fact, he smuggles bicycles. Number 2, suicide message. A body of a man was found in the flat. At some moment, he collapsed against his desk, a gun in his hand. The police found a cassette recorder nearby. When they pressed the play button, what they heard was, "I can't live like this anymore." Then the sound of a gunshot was heard. However, the detective immediately figured out that it was a murder. How did he realize that it wasn't a suicide? Surely, you already know the answer. If not, you still have some time.
How would I know the answer? Because there's a fingerprint on the gun.
If the man had killed himself, he by no means would have been able to rewind the tape. Conclusion, it was someone else.
What do you mean? Why would you
Number
rewind
1,
the tape?
crime scene.
Rewind the
A man
tape for
killed
what?
his wife in their car. He used a knife which he later threw away into an abyss where nobody was going to find it. His wife's body he took out of the car. He was very careful and left no fingerprints. After that, he headed home. In a couple of hours, he got a call from the police. They informed him that his wife had been killed, and he had to arrive at the crime scene right away. As soon as he got there, however, he was suspected for the murder. How did the police
I thought it
realize
said
it had been him
suspected
who
and it
was
said
guilty?
suspended.
And 15 seconds for you.
How did
Take
the
your
police
time.
realize it had been him who was guilty? Because his alibi didn't check out? Because he was too close?
The husband wasn't informed of the definite location of the crime scene. Despite that, he came to the right place.
Where was he supposed to go?
We hope you had a good time while...
No, I didn't have a good time because what the hell? Where was he supposed to go? Y'all said she had been murdered. Come now. I would think you would give him the location and be like, yo, your what was it? Your wife has been murdered right here. What if he was driving and he saw mad police and he was like, oh shoot, what is that? Because you know people are nosy. What if he was just like, oh, what is that? Let me check it out. That could have been it. See, I hate riddles. I hate riddles so much. But you know what? We're gonna do another riddle. This one's 10 minutes and 38 seconds. I don't know why I told you that, but I did. Let's just get right into it.
On Disney Plus.
Hey Mac, breakfast is ready.
The hell?
Uh-oh.
Okay, ready?
Tommy was exploring old caves outside the city
Who's
when
Tommy?
he got trapped in a mysterious dungeon. There were 3 ways out, but only one of them was safe. Behind the first door, a fire was raging. Behind the second door, there was acid rain, which could melt any substance within seconds. Behind the third door, there was a huge brown bear that hadn't eaten for 2 years. Which way should Tommy choose?
The bear. He has fire.
Tommy
You know?
should choose the third way. No animal can go for 2 years without food and survive.
Oh.
Barely. It was a stormy
I was
day,
still right.
and it
Shut
had
up.
been raining for several hours straight. A car accident happened in a tunnel. The yellow car crashed into the red one. The driver of the yellow car said it had been raining so heavily he hadn't seen anything. So the accident wasn't totally his fault. But the police asked the man to stop lying and claimed it was all his fault. Why?
Because they're in a tunnel. And you have windshield wipers.
The accident happened in the tunnel. It couldn't be raining there. Mrs. McAdams, who was having a day off with her friends, came back home in the middle of the day to change her clothes. There, she found out that her daughter, Eveline, who she'd grounded, wasn't at home. Mrs. McAdams got angry and texted Eveline, asking where she was.
Why does she look
Eveline
like...
texted her back, saying she was at school. The girl even attached a picture of the classroom. Mrs. McAdams didn't believe her daughter and told her to come home immediately. How did she understand Eveline wasn't at school?
Because it's Sunday. Unless she got detention.
Look closely at her cell phone. It's Sunday. There's no school on Sundays. Ned works in a club. His job is to check people's ID cards and to not let suspicious people or people younger than 21 years old get inside. Take a look at these 3 ID cards and figure out who shouldn't enter the club.
I don't know. Wait. I don't know years like that. I don't know. I don't know. It has to be. It has to be the black Negro. Sorry. Is that racist? No.
The first person is already 21, and nothing else looks suspicious in his ID. The second girl seems alright too. It's written that Brielle was born on September 31st. Ah, but such date doesn't exist. Her ID must be fake. Mrs.
There's
Cabell
no September
is the owner of a
31st.
small company producing expensive designer cups. On Friday,
Hold. Is there really no September 30? Oh.
working week was finally over, she got a call from her bank. The woman found out that someone had stolen all the money she had saved. Mrs. Cabell realized it must have been one of her workers, so she asked each of them what they had been doing that day.
I look like
Sloan, a sales manager, said she had been talking to their clients and looking for new ones. Atticus, a potter, said he always made 1 cup a day, and he showed all the cups he had done that week. Sierra, a designer, said she had been working, but she also admitted she hadn't been really productive that day because of some family issues. Who lied?
It's either the first one or the second one. I don't know why, but
Atticus,
one of them.
there are 5 working days in a regular week. The man said he made 1 mug a day, but he only showed 4 mugs. It means he missed 1 day of work.
I was
Lennox
thinking
and
that.
Finn were friends living in
But
the
I was
same
second-guessing
college
myself.
dorm. One day, Lennox reported that something had happened to his friend. He said Finn hadn't left his room all day. He also never responded to any of Lennox's texts. In the evening, Lennox started to worry and knocked on Finn's door, but the guy didn't answer. Lennox peeked through the keyhole and saw that his friend was lying on the floor, so he called the police. After that, Lennox got arrested. Why?
Because he was the last. Because he.
Lennox has a bandage on his right eye, but the keyhole is located in such a way that it's only possible to look inside with the right eye. It means the guy couldn't do it. He simply knew what had happened. Esme was having a walk in the forest.
Are you sure? Is that actually correct? Like, if there was a keyhole, the door, this is the hole. You're telling me I can't go like this? Like, I have to go like this? Like, I can't go like this? I feel like I can go like that. That was a dumb riddle because that don't even make sense. Even if you're like up against the wall, you could still go like that. That's a dumb riddle. That was dumb.
For
I don't
about
like
the 20th
this.
time. Hey, don't ask.
I hate riddles.
Anyway, she found the witch's house, walked in, said hi, petted the cat, and asked the witch to show her the way home. But the witch had a problem. She was learning a new spell and accidentally did something strange to her chairs. On the bright side,
She need to fix them teeth. Why are half of them missing? What? She just turned herself from this scrunchy little thing with gray hair into this tall, lady thing. And she just didn't decide to fix her teeth? That don't make sense. I don't like this.
now had a riddle for Esme to solve. The witch had 20 chairs. Now, some of the chairs only had 2 legs, and half of the rest had no legs at all. How many legs did all these 20 chairs have in total?
That's math. I'm not doing that. Some had 2, some had none. How am I supposed to know how much had 2 and how much had none? What? That's math. I can't do that. There has to be like
We know
40 chairs. Walmart. Move. Thank you.
We know that some of the chairs have, on average, 2 legs per chair. The rest of them have either 4 legs or no legs at all.
You didn't tell
And
me
since
that.
half of the rest have no legs and the other half have 4, together they have 2 legs per chair. So there are exactly 40 legs. Mr. Tucker was a businessman. He
Am I just slow? There's no way I'm not slow.
had to find an interesting hobby to impress people. He chose art, even though he knew nothing about it. Still, he kept buying paintings and even owned a couple of famous masterpieces. He liked to invite his potential business partners over to show off his collection. One day, his guest was Miss Geneva Darby, a young lady who owned a jewelry business. As always, Mr. Tucker boasted about his collection, but Miss Darby wasn't impressed. Why?
What you mean? What you mean why? I don't care. Get out of my house. I showed you this. I showed you this in confidence. I showed you this with passion in my heart. Talking about something. I don't like it. Step, please. What? You're what?
Look closer at this supposedly 16th century painting. There are a couple of cars on the road, but there were no cars at that time, so the painting must be fake. Evie and
I
Kai
don't
were
care.
planning to go on a
Step.
bike tour with their friends. Unfortunately, Evie didn't feel well, so she canceled on her friends and asked Kai to stay with her. Kai was disappointed, but agreed.
That's not a car.
Evie fell asleep. When she woke up, she already felt better. She offered Kai to ride their bikes a bit, just the two of them. But when they went outside, Evie realized that while she had been sleeping, Kai had been out with the friends without her. How did she understand it?
Because he doesn't have water under his. I don't know.
Look, Evie's bike is all wet. It must have been raining while she was asleep. But Kai's bike is dry. It means that he used it and then wiped it off. Or maybe he wasn't even in the area when it was raining. 2 weeks ago, a bank was robbed, but the robber hadn't been found yet. A phone call woke Detective Callum up in the middle of the night. His colleague reported that a farmer had found the money. When the detective arrived, he questioned the farmer.
Why he built
The
like
man
that?
said, I argued with my wife and went outside. That's when I found a bag with money in a cornfield. Detective Callum asked if the farmer had noticed anything suspicious before. The farmer replied, about 2 weeks ago, before going to bed, I looked out of the window. I saw a man walking through the field. It was a full moon and I could clearly see his silhouette. But there wasn't enough light to notice more details about it. The farmer was arrested. Why?
It's a cornfield. He's probably the only one out there. Why would there be someone
The
in
farmer
there?
said it had been a full moon 2 weeks before. But it's impossible. As you see, it's a full moon now. The farmer is lying. But why? Ashley was hurrying to an
why? He was in
unplanned
on
business
it.
meeting. She asked her boyfriend, Dean, to walk the dog. Dean agreed. But then his friend called and invited him to play a new video game. So the guy decided to skip walking the dog that day and joined his friends. He and Ashley met right outside the house when they both were going back home. Ashley asked what Dean had been doing. The guy said, I walked the dog and then went to play video games with my friends. Ashley immediately understood he was lying. How did she figure it out?
There's no dog footprints. But first of all, pause. The hell is up with their eyes? Sorry. If you were gonna leave the house to go to somebody else's house to play video games, why not just take the dog with you? Because then you did walk the dog. Will the dog have food? No. Will it probably, whatever? I don't know. What could dogs do at somebody else's house? Doesn't matter. You could have just took the dog with you and what? Because there's no dog footprints.
It's winter. Look at the footprints in the snow. There are Ashley's footprints going both ways and Dean's footprints going both ways too. But there are no dog footprints.
Do dogs' paws get cold because they're walking in snow? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean. Like, do they get cold? Because, I know fur helps them, but they don't have fur on their paws. They got, fur, and then they got those little things. They don't get cold. They still want to go on walks? Well, some dogs like the snow. I'm lying. I only know one dog that likes the snow. Well, I'm not lying, but I don't know for sure. There's no way they don't get cold.
Mrs.
Do
Rivers
cats like the
reported
snow?
that someone
Probably not.
had broken into her house. They stole all the money and jewelry she kept in her living room.
How would you
Detective
keep it in your
Callum
living
arrived
room?
to investigate the crime. The room was a mess. It was obvious that someone had been looking for something there. But in the end, the detective concluded that there was no robbery. Mrs. Rivers made the whole thing up. Why did he decide so?
I don't know.
Look at this very expensive and fragile tea set lying on the floor. If a criminal had really been there, he wouldn't have cared about the set. It would be smashed after falling down. It seems that when Mrs. Rivers was staging a robbery, she didn't feel like breaking her expensive tea set. Viviana and Malcolm.
What was she expecting to get from that? Was she expecting to like get money? I'm confused. What was she expecting? What was she planning to get out of that? What was the goal? What was the motive? What did she think was gonna be like the happy ending? Like what was her staging a robbery going to do for her? Because she didn't lose anything, so what was she supposed to get? I don't understand.
Were working outside. Malcolm was repairing the roof, and Viviana was working in the garden. Suddenly, a hammer fell from the roof and hit Viviana on the head. She was taken to a hospital, and the police came to figure out what had happened. When Malcolm told them everything, the police arrested him for staging an accident. Why didn't they believe the guy?
We're gonna think about this. The time goes way too fast. We're thinking, okay? First thing that popped into my head. You see the roof? Remember where he was at? He was right there, right? She was at the end of the house. I wish I could point, but I can't, right? She was at the end of the house. So, okay, nope. We're gonna do this, right? Okay, boom. He was right here. He was somewhere in this vicinity. She was all the way down here. You would have had to throw. Well, you would have had to have good aim too. You would have had to throw the hammer all the way down here so it hit her in the head. If it just fell, it would have been like this. But I know for 100,000% that that's not going to be the answer because it's a riddle and it never has logic answers. So, come on.
Viviana was working right next to the house. She was sitting under the roof. If the hammer had fallen accidentally, it would have slid down the roof and fallen behind the woman's back. It could hit her only if someone threw it at her on purpose. Well, that's not nice.
Like I said. Isn't that what I said? I said that. We have proof. We could watch it back if you want to. I'm not gonna. Cause I know y'all know that I was right. I literally told y'all, bro. I told y'all. Anyway, I hate riddles. That's it for today. That was the video. I hope you guys liked it. I didn't because I hate riddles. Anyway, love you guys so much. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on the notification bell so you can see. I don't want to do that. I'm sorry. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on the notification bell so you can see every time I post. And I promise I'm not that slow. I'm slow, but I'm not that slow. I love you guys so much. And see y'all later. Goodbye.